Hello everybody. Since I'm at it, I thought I'd make one more video today, and it's still the 9th of November. And I want to talk about God's servants, slaves. So God in relation to humanity, how humanity sees itself, and the realization of which God it is we serve. Because trust me, there's more than one. That's the first deception, that there is only one and you have no other choice. God is an intention. You're serving an intention, and it is through serving the intention that you kind of think you're putting meaning to your life. You're giving your life meaning. You are creating the meaning. Actually, at the moment, you're being given the meaning. The meaning of your life is that you should serve the intention of God. And the intention of God is to rule over this world, to possess this world, to have dominion over it. So it is the blueprint of your subconscious mind. That is your subconscious program. And unless you see that, unless you see what is actually in there, you will unconsciously always be going back to it. And what you can do and cannot do, your perception of yourself in this reality will always be according to that blueprint. That is the architect's blueprint that is in your subconscious. And you are now working according to that blueprint. That is why we must understand this teaching. What we need to awake to, the knowledge that we need to wake up to, is the knowledge of the blueprint. We must read the blueprint, and we must reconfigure it. The base program. As long as we don't do that, we will unconsciously always go back to it. Now, it creates conflict in us, and what is inside of us creates the world outside of us. This blueprint, this idea of ours is not the reason why, ours is just to do and die, creates conflict inside of us. And then we're being told, overcome, just follow orders, which is the wrong way. I mean, Jesus took it to the level of, for myself I asked nothing. And then when he was asked to die, what he actually overcame was his own survival instinct, which is really the last thing that should keep you alive. And he overcame that. And at that point you are a slave. If you have no will, no thought of yourself anymore, you are a slave. Now, some say Jesus did not really exist. But what is taught in that teaching is creating our reality right now. Actually, the knowledge he gained of how we are actually interacting with this matrix, that our thought and our emotions come together and interact with the non-created to create new forms. That knowledge is being used. So I don't know how this knowledge could be used right now if the bringing of the knowledge never happened in the first place. Trust me, it is being used on you because the way they are leading us has changed. It was with the rod of iron to start with, yes. You are nothing, you're being whipped through your life by the powers that be, especially if you don't know your place, which is not the reason why. But now they have a new way of leading us out of the understanding of the knowledge that Jesus brought. They know now that we can actually create beyond the works of our hands. They understand that. They also understand is that the best way of doing it is if we do it joyfully. Yeah? If we fully believe that we are doing the right thing, it will work a treat. And therefore there are now thousands of people doing the most idiotic things in this world, in the full belief that they're doing the right thing. The world is full of them now. But that is a teaching being used, again, to serve the original intention, that is to have dominion over, to rule over you. They're ruling over you out of a greater understanding of you. And they are building back better. Listen to Boris Johnson. We are building back better. And you can see it working. You can see how they're changing the education system, how they are changing the way they are handling us. They're making very sudden changes to the blueprint, but only to the point that serves them. No further. As long as we don't see the original intention, what it is we're actually working for. Yeah, let us believe that we can do more than we believe possible. And it will happen because that is how this works. But let us still serve the original blueprint. Now, if you do not see the blueprint, and all you see is the forms that it takes, yeah, you see nothing. If you say just all you have to do is get rid of Jesus and get rid of that teaching, you have understood nothing. You have not learned the lesson that was in that for yourself. And then even if you see it wrong in the forms, and they've done that over and over and over again, because if you only see it in the forms, in the political system that it takes and what the mighty are doing, all they have to do is create a new picture. And you think you are in a completely new reality, and you're not, because that new picture still serves the original intention. Nothing has changed. Yeah? They've just changed the picture. So that is why you must go beyond. And by just throwing that thing out, you've learned nothing. So in order to build back better, we must learn from the mistakes. We must see what is right, and we must learn from the mistakes. Knowledge of good and evil, of good and bad. So for starters, the intention of ruling over is creating conflict, is creating destruction. Forget it. We need another God. We need another intention. So I'm proposing the intention of giving meaning to our life by serving life. Just that, serve life. And in order to serve life, we will need to learn how it is created. And that is not just our life, but how our life interacts with everything else to create harmony and balance. That would be a good purpose to our lives. That would be a good meaning. To learn the lesson in this world, because nature itself is a great lesson, ecosystems are great lessons. To learn that and try to make ourselves, because we can change ourselves. in a way that we fit into these ecosystems. And then we will have created something that can exist in peace with everything else. Now that would be a great intention. To me, that would be a great intention. Now, the other thing is the system in which this intention should work. Because this is complex, there are a lot of complex tasks. There needs to be some order. I mean, we can't all become chiefs, do whatever we want. So there needs to be some order. Now, at the moment, again, we have God, the mighty, orders coming down, and we're doing as we're told. Now, let's say we're building a house, and the ones at the top are the architects with the blueprint. That is according to the house they want to build. Yeah? We are the workers at the bottom, most of us are. Yeah? And here comes again servants and slaves. If the builders that have the knowledge of building, which we are, we actually have the knowledge of building, build a structure and according to the blueprint, and they find out that that structure is kind of wobbly, it will not stand up, there's a wall that's swaying in the wind like that. Then if we are good servants, we would go to the architect and say, you know what, there's something wrong with your blueprint. This structure is not holding up. You have miscalculated something in your blueprint. And then if the architect is a wise architect, he would rethink himself. He would take into account what the builder is saying. Yeah. So some of us are suited to be architects, some of us are suited to be builders. And we should be of service to one another. And what is being built should serve all. But as I said, the architect should listen to the builder, which at the moment they don't. They actually think we need a different builder. It's a fault of the builder that the bloody wall, it's not building it correctly. It's a bloody blueprint that is at fault. And honest to God, we're not serving God by just building and letting it come crashing down, because it will come crashing down. So, and the moment when you are a complete slave is when you build this thing, you know it will come down and say, well, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm just following orders. I'm just building this bloody thing. And then if you actually get to the point where you know when it comes crashing down, it will squash you. And you're still saying, just following orders. If it kills me, it's not my fault. It's the architect. Then you have actually done away with your survival instinct. And you are the perfect slave. So this is, to my mind, and that would be a new story. A new story of an intention of a God, the intention of preserving life, preserving the forms, giving to them, where every place has a place according to itself, but in a way that can give to everything else. We are the builders that are test driving the theories, and if it goes belly up, it is not for the architect to say, well, you are doing something wrong. The fault is most likely in the blueprint. So we need wise architects that actually take feedback and remodel according to the feedback, which is no longer happening. They are just going forward. To hell with whatever anybody else says. We are building back better. And whoever falls by the wayside, falls by the wayside, and that is not the way. Anyway, in order to even get to that point, I said you need to have a completely new perception of yourself, your role, the meaning of your life. And it's not to follow orders. And it is not just to do or die. You must become a participant because you are, in part, a creator of this reality. And if you don't take that responsibility, if you don't remodel yourself or rethink yourself, nothing will ever change. They will be the creators. You will do according to what they tell you. And since their intention was wrong to start with, this thing will come crushing down over and over and over again. And the only ones that are getting squashed are actually us. So anyway, that's this bit. And talk to you again soon. Bye.